The process work that me and James, as we're working, has been very intimate. So I picked this place because I've had experience performing here before. It was very intimate. There is a sense of energy that allows for the exploration of the work to happen very well. So this was something that I saw lends itself to the work. I remember as we were trying to work with the sand and sea, there were a lot of moments of intimacy. For myself, working with the sand, working with the sea. So maybe coming back to a space that offers the same sense of intimacy allowed for that opportunity. And to be honest, some of the other works that I have featured here were very collaborative. So looking at the collaboration that James and I and our other collaborators are coming together, I felt like this was definitely the best place for us to explore, for us to present a work that was trying to work with technology, that's trying to work with sound and light. Understand. It just felt like a right space to be creative.
I think it's just how the society looks at arts or the dance per se in Singapore. A lot of people will ask, what do you get out of it?
So okay, why don't we do the light first? Now we don't do the sound, right? The sound is just share it.
Come on in. How are you? I'm good. Have a seat. This is James, my collaborator. This is Farah.
Hi Farah.
What an amazing studio you have here.
Oh, it's my one of our collaborators here.
Nice.
Have a seat. When we did it previously, we had a lot of sounds.
Okay.
It was more Malay traditional dance form.
So every axis of we were working with would have like a particular musical instrument.
Yeah.
So that would be either the gong, the rebana, the flute,
the violin.
Yeah.
So the sound world was very traditional Malay instruments. At that point of time, it was really like, oh, I can do this, then he can dance. So let's put something together. So this time around, we are diving a little bit deeper, trying to find more like a deeper meaning for exploring these two disciplines coming together.
So what are we looking for the outcome of this project is that we are doing actually an online portal where we're going to dump some of our findings there. So at the same time, we might be doing two kinds of videos. One of it, the performance itself and how this is working, and another would be the process.
The conversation with you is really more understanding like the physiology of like the body, because
or the limitations of
it. So like as a dancer with this, like are there things that we can think about more specifically? Like are there like major cables that we should take note of or think about?
It depends on what kind of movements you're focusing on.
Yeah.
Like internal rotation, external rotation.
Internal rotation being
This
like this.
internal.
Okay.
And this is
External is away from your body.
Are they not controlled by the same thing?
They are, but then like for the lower arm, it's usually more like the joints rather than like coming from your shoulder socket.
Okay.
It's just like your hips.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, like if you're doing like the external rotation, then it's literally actually internal and external rotation. It's coming from the shoulder, but if you're going like beyond the axis, then it's definitely from your ulna. So it's just that bone. Like James, you can like put your thumbs here.
Yeah.
And then, can you just rotate in and out? Can you feel that bone?
The round one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like the head of the ulna actually also controls in terms of like the lower arm movement, especially when it goes beyond the axis. If you just do the normal 90-degree kind of plane, then it's definitely coming from here. But if it goes like beyond, then it's definitely your ulna rotating by like what 10%.
Yeah, actually, it makes sense. I suppose when you go to your fingers, it's just the fingers?
Yeah.
Or does it start from the
Your
wrist?
metacarpals, yeah. So it does come from your wrist joint. I would say for fingers, it's definitely your joint.
Your joint?
Yeah. Your proximal, your distal.
When he engages his upper body, right? When you like sort of... this is back down to the spine, I suppose.
Yes,
Or to the back.
correct. Yeah. And also like his lower legs, because as soon as he does that, naturally.
Yeah.
I mean, if
It's
you're
natural, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Since he's internally rotating his shoulders, right? It's definitely the range of motion that he has. Again, age comes into play, and like because you're not utilizing that area as much as any other dance or dance genre, so
He's using other parts to sort of supplement.
so that's why like you can see more of like his shoulder blades coming forward more before like it's rotating. I mean, technically you could just like rotate all the way like that,
Yeah.
but he needs to like bend his shoulders and then all the way to hips and like knee. Technology is super interesting. With all of this, I guess like more people will be much more interested in like the normal things we are doing. I would say where you place the motion sensor, right now it's maybe a bit of the bicep femoris, but like it's again like if you're talking about the lower arm rotation, right, it always starts from the ulna, which is like that bit over here. So if you were to place a sensor next time around, like not literally in the middle of the elbows and like right at the side, maybe you get like more I don't know, like sense with the
sensitivity.
with the light.
Because right now the sensor that's on board this is an accelerometer, like how you use a game, like a phone when you play games, right? Yeah, it's the same thing. So we are using two axes only, like X and Y. So when you put it at the neutral position, when this is at neutral position, it's zero in that sense. So when he put his hands down, the x-axis is going negative, so to speak. And then when he goes all the way up, it passes positive. Then same thing for the left and right. So that and it would be the y-axis. Just now we were saying the lower arm and the upper arm, like
the positioning.
Yeah, because when we did this and he felt that the left and right was kind of hard to get to.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like this is in a way I can.
Like the wrist is already totally way past what the upper arm has done, right? In order to get to that side, he needs to totally rotate like this. But then we tried pulling it down all the way to the wrist. Did we try putting it on the wrist? We tried, right?
Here.
Yeah. So here, because since this is easier, right? But then you felt that it was.
You have to rotate even more.
No. Like remember we put it on the wrist.
Yeah.
Then it's sort of like you take it for granted. You just.
Yes.
Because
it's so easy to.
It's easy to do it. Then you don't really think about it.
Usually use like the upper arm muscles in Malay dance.
No. Upper arms, right?
Yeah.
No. Like even for my lenggang, right? Yeah, I do. I mean, it's working.
It's not to that
But not
extent
to
where
that
it
rotating.
passes the axis.
Yeah.
So gini.
But the upper arm is moving, from the way I'm looking at it right now, because of what you're doing to your lower arm and wrist. You're not really moving.
I'm not activating it.
I'm
activating here.
Which results in the.
Because when I activate here, this moves like, right?
Yeah.
But then it's not. I'm putting so much. So this is the part where I do feel like it's so awkward and so different, which is interesting because then I am realizing that this is the upper side of my body that I have yet to fully use it. Yeah. So a lot of times for Malay dance, I think it feels like it's more of the extremities.
Yeah.
The fingers, right? Because this is all what is beautiful, right? This is the part where it's rarely used. So normally after our rehearsals, I'll get like, quite aching back.
As in hours?
Yeah. No, because that means I'm moving a lot, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like.
Now you're like engaging it.
Yeah. More than I would have engaged it.
That's actually quite interesting.
Yeah.
I'm also thinking maybe this interest experience could also help for traditional dancers to activate parts of their bodies that they have taken for granted or they don't know, So that for me, I really have to make the effort. In
terms of doing it with the like dance therapy side, I think it would definitely engage like the younger generation rather than like the older generation. And I felt like it's actually quite nice to see if you were to put I'm not sure if you've seen it, like those sports physician always plays the gait motion analysis, like the 3D ones, and then to engage your passive and your active muscles, and then you will actually see them like how they move in on the computer and on the screen. And then you analyze in terms of like their degree of flexion and motion and how much they can travel, how high they can jump. yeah, that sort of thing. I think it's really good to shed light on it, but I guess now why the reason schools are not having this kind of thing is because it's expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they needed someone to really like, like a lab tech, sit down and like, okay, I'm gonna analyze dancer A and from year 1 and then all the way to year 3. Yeah.
Because for me, it's like even if it's you're taking this sort of setup and then gamifying it, but through using a game to sort of entice elderlies to sort of maybe work on their motion. Like instead of just like being more static and
I think it's really nice because if it creates like sound for them,
this sort
they
of
feel like very a lot of the time with 2D motion analysis, they do it more in contemporary, not so much in hip hop, but in contemporary and ballet, and it is when the dancers realize I do have this kind of muscles that I need to actually engage in order to perform this movement accurately or properly. Yeah. So then, I mean, in that sense, like, they can actually see and understand. But then, you just need to be able to like advertise and say, hey, this thing actually going on in your body. You can actually figure it out. Instead of like the traditional going to the class and the teacher just tell you engage this.
Yes.
Now then you kind of realize internally, oh, I do have this. This is actually working and it's actually twice as hard. Just figuring out in class. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. There were moments when we were very sure of what we were doing, but in the sense of exploration, it also allows for us to see the grey areas in which we thought that we had found it, but we are still in the state of exploration. And through this process, we were also trying to find a way in which we could blend the verge of what technology and the human body can offer. We're also looking at the disciplines, right? Because working with sound, working with lights, working with dance, working with the body, working with material. We're always working in the verge of all these things and trying to find a way where it can all blend together.